So good morning, everyone, and a very warm welcome to our WWF conference on Future Food Together, Transforming Food Systems in the Global South. This is our final conference of the IKI project on sustainable consumption and production, which is part of the International Climate Initiative. It is funded by the German government, to be precise, by the Ministry for the Environment. And it is also part, as you know, of the SDGs, SDG number 12, Sustainable Consumption and Production Patterns. The project started in 2017 with our partner countries in Thailand, Indonesia, and the Philippines. And it was expanded in 2020, I think, to South America, to Colombia, and to Paraguay. That's why we call it the SCP South-South. You know that sustainable consumption and production patterns are key to our joint efforts to saving this planet. And as I said, it's part of our SDGs, and this is quite general, but the food system part, which we are talking about today, is increasingly more important. We are often talking about a triple or even multiple crisis of climate emergency, biodiversity loss, and also food. Food in various aspects. Food insecurity, still around 800 million people are suffering from hunger. And on the other hand, we have huge issues on food loss and waste. I learned from this great report, which I can recommend to all of you, that 1/3 of all global food that is being produced is wasted or lost. So food, of course, we cannot survive without. It's our basic need for human health. However, the current food system as we have it today has a huge impact, not only socially, for example, on forced labor, gender issues, and other health risks, of course, but also environmental impacts. And in the study, I'm just giving you some numbers because I think these are very relevant. The environmental of food production leads to 80% of global deforestation, 80%. It is also responsible for 30% of global greenhouse gas emissions and 70% of fresh water use. There are more numbers in this report, but these are just a few to mention. So all the crises that we are talking about today, climate, biodiversity loss, fresh water, overuse, and agriculture, food production, they are all interlinked and connected. Today we will be focusing and talking and hearing a lot about the way towards a more sustainable food system, a more sustainable way to produce and also to consume food. The project is part of no less than a transformation of the global food systems. On the one hand, we will hear about what is being done on an international policy level, the policy perspective, but on the other hand, we will hear from on-the-ground project experience from our partner countries. And to cover these topics, I'm really happy that we have some explicit expert guests with us today. I would be very happy to start with one of our special guests, which is Ulf Jäckel. He's from our Ministry of the Environment, Nature Conservation, Nuclear Safety, and Consumer Protection. He's currently the head of division for European and international adaptation to climate change. And not only this, Ulf is very special to this project because he has been with us on this journey from the very beginning. So I think I'm not exaggerating if I say that he's one of the most important partners, was and still is, in our work on SCP. I'm also truly delighted to welcome and see so many colleagues from our WWF network, from our partner countries. Welcome to Berlin. It's so great to see you all here. I know you've traveled a long way, and it's great to see you in person and not only virtually on screen. This is very special. We will hear a lot from you, from your experience in the field, from your obstacles, from your partnerships, maybe also failures and successes, hopefully. Your work is what puts flesh to the bones of this project. So I'm very, very excited to hear from you. And without your contribution, we would not be able to achieve what we have set out to do, transforming food systems in the global south. And of course, I would love to welcome our German team and international team of WWF. Foremost, Tanja. You all know Tanja Plötz. She's a senior advisor for sustainable food systems at WWF Germany. And I think I'm not saying anything wrong to say she's the heart and the soul of this project. She's keeping everything together. And I really have to say, I didn't put that in the notes to read for her. She's one of the few colleagues that always impress me with their enthusiasm, with their motivation, not only for herself, but for others. So thank you, Tanja, for all your work. And I would also like to welcome Martina Fleckenstein. She's Global Director Policy Food of WWF International. And she's also been with us from the very, very beginning. And Rolf Sommer, he's Director of our agriculture team at WWF Germany. And I'm also very happy to have him as my colleague. I'm Katjuscha Dörfel. I'm acting director of the Asia team at WWF Germany. And you might think, why is she here? I know that there are 3 countries from Asia here, but actually it's another reason why I stand here as your moderator. I'm not a professional moderator, but Tanja asked me to join you today because more than 7 years ago, Martina, Tanja, and I went to Bangkok and to work on the ICI proposal, the full proposal. We were luckily invited to develop a full proposal. So we went to Bangkok to work with the teams from Philippines, from Thailand, from Indonesia to talk about impact, outcome, outputs. I was there in my role as public sector partnership manager. I did this job for a long time in our office in Germany. So I was there for a bit more like technical reasons, ICI regulatory and how to formulate impacts and outcome and outputs. So, but we had a really, really interesting time. And I remember a lot of vivid discussions, about where we should focus in the different countries. And I think what is very important to say that we had the support of the ministry in person. Ulf was there with us from the very start. Thank you, Ulf. And to be very honest, Ulf, we were quite nervous that you join our internal right shop, because I attended many, many planning workshops and there are a lot of discussions going on. Sometimes you don't want anybody to hear that. But to be honest, it was the best thing that you were there, because you were open to discussion. You gave us a lot of space to fill this SCP concept with life. You gave us a lot of room for discussion. You were curious, you asked questions. So the countries could really choose what focus areas they would like to address in this project, from sustainable farming methods, agroecology, to healthier diets and consumption patterns, and also food loss and waste. So it was really, really great. And I forgot to mention one thing. With Martina and Tanya in Bangkok, I also remember a lot of sleepless nights. Not because we were partying in Bangkok, but because we had the worst jet lag ever in our life. And I heard that some of you are still suffering from jet, so I can relate a lot. But it was a great trip, and I really have still a lot of memories in my mind. So, as I started this journey with Tanya and Martina and with the teams in the Asian countries, I am really, really curious to hear, 7 years later, what has happened in the meantime. Has our project design from back then made sense at all? Did we achieve some of the indicators we set out to achieve? Was there a lot of adaptive management, which is completely fine? I'm just really curious to hear from you. What were your obstacles? What were your lessons learned? What were your achievements? Because I think we set out for a great task. Transforming food systems is a huge, huge task. And I'm really happy to hear from you what you could contribute to this journey. So, just one last remark, a technical remark. This event is being filmed, and I think you all gave your permission to do that. It is for project reporting reasons. It will be put up on the website, so just to let you know one more time. So I think I've said enough. Let's get to it. I will just shortly go through the agenda. This is our agenda for today. We are hearing, as the next input will be coming from Ulf. Very glad that you can make it today. And so he will give us some input about our ministry's work on SCP, how important it is for our German government. Afterwards, we will hear from Rolf on SCP in our work in WWF Germany. Tanya will give us a brief introduction into the project again, and Martina stepped in for Michael, who has some health issues, I understand, so very great that Martina can step in to cover SCP in the global context. And then we will have a short coffee break, and then I'm very excited to hear from the country teams who have traveled a long way for their country presentations. And after lunch, we will have some fireside chats to go into more detail on some of the issues that you have experienced, some of the key stakeholders in your project. Just some more details, some more information on the project. And I think after the coffee break, there's time for another project of ours. And without further ado, I think I would love to hand over to Ulf, and please join me here on stage.